I could just say it again. So I wanted to all be based in that one space.
You're not a producer. How you want it to be based in one space? I'm the producer.
I've been so exhausted, dealing with this constantly. Yeah, I'm just out here trying to find my way. I'm just out here trying to find my place. And if you ever get lost.
Speaking of social media also as well, you're young. You don't spend a lot of time on social media, which can be a good thing, which is a good thing. I'm not going to say could be a good thing, which is a good thing. But with what you're trying to do, what are you trying to do exactly with your music?
Just get it out there and create a fan base that I know is truly truly feeling my sound and truly understanding what I have to bring to the table. Like, I'm not trying to be like nobody. I'm just making music and telling my stories.
Who are some of your favorite artists?
I would say like a top or just like a top.
Give me
five?
your top five.
Let's go.
Your top five and why?
I say no order.
No order, but this is top five, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I say no order, but then I name him my favorite first. Let's go J. Cole.
Okay, why do you like J. Cole?
The reason I like J. Cole is because when we lived in Fayetteville, I remember I didn't even listen to J. Cole when we was like just moving to Fayetteville. And
Was he out before we moved to Fayetteville? Mm-hmm. So that's when he popped when we really moved.
Like, he was that's when he just dropped what's that song? I think it's Who Dat? Who Dat? I think it was that. He had just dropped that.
The first song I remember from him is Nobody's Perfect.
I think it was kind of. I think we had got there like
whenever he was getting to the peak of his of things going off for him.
Another thing too, like living in Fayetteville or living in any city where a artist is from, like you hear them a little bit more wherever they're from. So it was a really big J. Cole presence when we lived in Fayetteville, because for me, that's when I noticed him as an artist, because I think I thought that's when he was just starting out, but maybe it wasn't when he was just starting out, because I thought he was just starting out because
on the radio and stuff.
Yeah, because we were living in Fayetteville, and before that I hadn't really heard anything about him. So when an artist is from a town or a city, a town or a state, they tend to go a little bit harder with their music. Because I could say the same thing for, what's the guy name? Bruno Mars. When we lived in Hawaii, it was a big Bruno Mars presence for me there. I became a big Bruno Mars fan there because, they played a lot of Bruno Mars music. But anyway.
But yeah, I remember right before we moved there, Dad was like, have you ever heard of J. Cole? They play him a lot on the radio.
I've heard of him, but I don't listen to him like that.
But see, he was living in Fayetteville at the time, right?
Mm-hmm. And when I told him that, I still didn't start diving into his music. But then I ended up going to school at 71st, and a lot of people there was listening to him. So I was like, hey, let me check him out. So I started listening to him, and then I was like, whoa, this dude's kind of he's good at telling stories and stuff like that. Like, he's good at putting you in his shoes, or he's good at putting you in somebody else's shoes so you can feel how they felt. He was good at getting emotions across in songs. So I was like, that's pretty cool. Kind of like how that Lil Wayne thing had an influence on me. So I was like, that's kind of cool. So the more I dug into his music, the more I started realizing it rubbed off on me. Like, I started writing more, and I started making songs about things that I was actually going through, or things that I was seeing my friends go through. So that's what kind of got me plugged in with J. Cole, just seeing his presence in his city and seeing that how somebody from a small town could be so big, because Fayetteville wasn't that big.
He made it real for you.
Mm-hmm. He showed me that you could do it from where you're at, or you can get your city behind you in a way. So that's why I also threw the 9 in my name, because it was I want my city behind me, and I want to do it for my city. And I want to put Waycross on the map, because Fayetteville was already on the map, and Jacksonville was kind of bubbling already, because people know about Jacksonville, but people don't know about Waycross. So it was that was my biggest goal, to get the eyes on Waycross, or try at least to get the eyes on Waycross. So yeah, that's the reason why I started liking J. Cole's music. He had a big influence on me. Still to this day he does. But my number 2, We'll go with.
Don't worry about the backlash.
No. I'm just trying to think because I listen to a lot of people and I'm trying to figure out like who do I truly listen to, and I say like, oh, I love this song or I love their music. I go with Drake. Drake had another big influence. I mean, but his was kind of like how J. Cole's was, because he was writing about his stories and his experiences, and he was just telling like everything how it was in his city and trying to put people on and stuff like that. So Drake. Then I'll
Drake too.
I'll go on.
And you know he's like an automatic hit maker too. But
his songs lately been a little crunchy, but yeah, I don't think he can do any wrong.
I'll go with 3. I'll say Jay-Z recently fell into my top because I listened to all his albums recently, and my favorite albums by his were Reasonable Doubt and then the Black Album. I was stuck in between those two, but I'll put Reasonable Doubt over Black Album now. But yeah, his cadence, the way he flowed, and all that stuff, that was just mind blowing to me. I can't even express how his music made me feel, because it was just like, how can you possibly think of all that in your head? Like, one thing I heard him say was that we all know like how Jay-Z had that drug dealing past and stuff. Mm-hmm. So he said that he used to be on the street so much to the point where he didn't have time to write. So he started repeating his rhymes in his head to the point where it became like second nature to him. Cause I was like, if he can practice that much and get that good, then why can't I? Cause Jay-Z didn't sign his first deal until 26. I'm only 23, so it's just, well, he didn't put out his first album until he was 26. So it just let me show like, if you keep practicing, then it'll become second nature to you. And that's how it is for me. Like that first project I put out, Straight Like That, you can tell, like I dislike the project now. Like I don't like it at all. It's still getting plays and stuff, and it's still kind of bringing in a little bit of money.
Why don't you like it?
Just cause like, I don't know.
You can't not like where you come from. It's part of what made you.
It's just like, I don't know. It's like, what was I thinking? But it was me.
What were you talking about in Straight Like That?
It was just me. Well, no, not Straight Like That. I Turn Up As Well is the name of the project. But it was just like trying to show people like, hey, I can do more than just rap. Because I get a lot of messages with people trying to make me backtrack and go back to like writing and stuff and trying to do like certain like how I used to rap like heavy and like actually like write down rhymes and try to hit people with heavy punchlines and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I didn't like that anymore, because I was like, all right, now everybody's trying to do it, and people started to compare me to J. Cole, and they started to say, oh, you sound like this dude, even though it wasn't bad like comparisons. It was just like, I'm not trying to be like that person. Right. I'm trying to be like myself. So when I dropped I Turn Up As Well, it was like me trying to show like I can make all kinds of music, and those beats were more like upbeat and like more trappy type beats. So that was my first project too, where I stopped writing and I freestyled everything, except for like one song on there I think I wrote, but it was all freestyles, and that's what got it going. But my 4th.
Okay, so far you got J. Cole, Drake, and Jay-Z.
My 4th. I should just did top 3 because I don't really. I like, what's his name? I like Lil Durk's music. He's not really like, he's not in most people's top 5 because he's like a current artist, and he's like more of a Chicago rapper. But I like his music because I know it's like he has truth behind it. Most people that talk about robbing, stealing, and stuff like that, even though this is not like me trying to like glorify, yeah. Most people that talk about that stuff, they haven't really done it, or they're just talking.
But like Lil Durk, he actually got the what's it called? He actually has like the proof out here showing that like this is what he did and this is where he came from. But he's also letting you know like I'm not proud of that, but that's what I had to do to get to where I am. And I just like how it comes out in his music, like it's so truthful and stuff. But then my 5th, who is my 5th favorite? I would say might have to give it to, torn between two people right now, but I might have to give it to
Who are the two people that is torn between?
either Kendrick or Juice. Cause the thing with
Who is Juice?
Juice WRLD,
Oh,
the thing, I'm gonna go Kendrick. Juice will be in my top 10 when we get there. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Kendrick because that dude's incredible. And he also shows that you don't have to be like this flashy person. Same with J. Cole. They show that you don't have to be this flashy person just to be a rapper. You can still be your normal self and be like known as one of the hardest rappers or one of the greatest rappers to ever do it.
Khazi, keep it going. Ain't no doubt in my mind that you know this. I'm doing better, it's hard for you not to notice. How can I stop it if I can barely control?